Hey, what's up guys, it's HoveringBanana and welcome to our new trading series where we're going to be going from some white zombas all the way up to some white Draco wheels. Now for anyone that's new around here, this is our fourth trading series. Our first one we took a player's choice crate all the way up to a hexed, then we took that hexed up to some crimson vaults, and then we took the crimson vaults up to some white zombas. Now my initial plan was to go for a beta nugget and then an alpha cap. But about 3/4 of my comments on my previous video were people requesting that I go for some white Dracos, and no way I'm going to let you guys down, so it's going to be white Dracos and then probably alpha cap after that. So we're looking at about an 80 key difference between white zombas and white Draco wheels, but we're probably going to see white Dracos going down in price by a bit. I'm just hoping it's nothing too drastic that might affect the series. And the last thing that I wanted to get out of the way is that at the end of the previous trading series, I had white zombas and then like $30 to $40 of other items. But I don't want the title of this video to come across misleading, so I traded all those extra items onto my main account. So that should be introductions out of the way, so let's talk about the first trade. Now these white zomba wheels that I bought for 88 keys a few days ago. I wasn't too keen on buying them since they were dropping in price each day, however I needed to complete the trading series. So I got them for 88, and that wasn't the easiest thing. A lot of sellers were looking for 90 keys. However, the item dropped the very next day and sellers were looking for 85 keys now. So not only is the price of the item going to be going down, but so is the demand. Very few traders are going to want to buy an item that's constantly going down in price, and anyone that's buying it for personal use might wait like an extra week and get a much cheaper deal. However, I thankfully came across a nice overpay on Reddit. So I'll show you the ad on the screen here, and you can pause if you want to have a look through it. But in the trade menu here, I'll list all the items and the values that I confidently feel I'll be able to get for each item. A lot of these I do feel I can get slightly more though, and these are all pretty good items, nothing extremely difficult to trade, and it's about 17 keys overpay in items for the white zombas, so I'm very happy with the start we got to the series. So for the next trade, I managed to sell my purple triplex wheels for 4 keys, and that's 1 key over what I valued them at. Now these purple triplex as well as my saffron hex, I wanted to sell these immediately. Reason being is that they're brand new, so they're going to drop in price faster than my other items. And this trade comes from one of my rocketleague.com adverts, as do most of my trades. And if that's not the case, I usually mention where I got it from instead. So for the next trade, I managed to snipe a deal from rltrades.com. A guy was selling his Draco wheels for 3 keys. This trade is about 2 days old, and I was very confident I'd be able to sell them for 5 keys. They're a very popular item at the moment, so definitely look into trading these if you haven't. However, I didn't put them up for 5 keys straight away. Instead, I wanted to see if I could 1-to-1 for a mantis. The mantis 2 days ago was about 6 keys, and a guy invited me for this trade and he had a juggler mantis. Juggler is one of the worst certifications though, so I don't really feel it adds that much value. So I just put it up on rocketleague.com for 6 keys, and a few minutes later I got invited for that deal. For the next trade, I managed to sell my saffron hex phase for 4 keys. I valued them at 3, so I'm really happy with 4. And I mentioned with the triplex, I don't want to hold these new items too long because they're going to be dropping in value quite quickly. For the next trade, I managed to snipe another deal from RL Trades. This guy was buying forest green discotheque for 5 keys. I valued them at 4, but I think getting like 5 is pretty difficult, so I took this deal straight away. The next trade is yet another snipe from RL Trades. Guy had a scorer certified labyrinth for 3 keys. People were selling regular labyrinth for about 3 keys, and scorer is the second best certification, so I was very confident I'd be able to get 4, and there's actually a very good chance we can get more than that. So I put the scorer labyrinth up on rocketleague.com. I just said I wanted offers on it. Guy invited me and gave me an offer, but I wasn't too keen on it, so he instead showed me all his items and I gave him one that I was happy with, and that deal was 1 key plus about 5 keys in ads. We're looking at a ZSR and a GT, that's 1 key each. Then we got 2 Type S, that's about 1.5 together. Then we got a fire plug and keyless wheels that also say about 1.5 together. So a nice little overpay for our scorer labyrinth. So the next trade involves my playmaker certified biomass. Now I felt this item was worth about 6 keys, regular biomass going for about 4 to 5, and it's playmaker certified, so I think that adds about 1 key. However, I wasn't getting 6 keys easily, so I instead decided to put up as well biomass 1-to-1 for the mantis. Mantis very popular, and 2 days ago was easily 6 keys, and I managed to score this deal. So I just quickly put it up on rocketleague.com. A few minutes later I got invited for it and sold it for 6 keys. For the next trade I bought a pair of Draco wheels for 4 keys. Not as cheap as the earlier one we bought for 3, that was a snipe, but 4 is still pretty cheap and I'm confident I can get 5. However, just remember that this trade is 2 days old, so maybe you can't get 5 keys now for them, maybe you have to buy for 3 and then sell them for 4. So I put this up on rocketleague.com, 10 minutes later I sold it for the 5 keys I was looking for. For the next trade I got invited for my great tachyon boost. I was trying to get 4 keys but the guy offered me some other deals. I passed on most of them until he gave me a good overpay. So he offered me 1 key plus some pink goalkeeper certified ARA wheels or RO wheels and then purple septums on top of that. Now both of these wheels I'm fairly confident I can get 2 keys each, however I'm going to start a bit higher and see if I can get maybe 3 each. The next trade involves my Crimson Kalos wheels. I valued these at about 12 keys and I found a very nice overpay on Steam. I found this through rltrades.com, just put a bunch of my items in the one section to see what people were offering. Now like with the first trade I'll zoom in and I'll show you what the values are. Like I said, it's just what I'm confident I'll be able to get, not the absolute values. And this all in all is about 5 keys overpay and I was very happy with that. However, we've got quite a bit of items on us, so I want to focus on selling more of my items rather than taking another item overpay. So I put like all of my items up on rocketleague.com and I got invited for my endo for 2 keys. I do feel you could perhaps get slightly more than 2 keys at the moment. However, we have so many items that I don't think every trade has to be an exceptional one. For the next trade, I managed to get a nitro crate for my dark matter boost. I put up a bunch of my smaller items and I was looking for nitro crates for them. Stuff like my Trinity, my dark matter, my pixel fire, 1-to-1 for nitro crates. Now with nitro crates, I do feel you can still get 1 key each for them. However, I'm going to value this one at 0.75 just to be on the safe side. For the next trade, I managed to sell my sky blue ARA wheels for 3 keys. That's 1 key more than I valued it at. However, I wouldn't suggest trading these wheels. Very unpopular and I expected it to take me quite a bit longer than it actually did. Next up, I got invited for my purple septum wheels and a guy offered me some crimson Borealis. We traded these in the past and I've always said they're a good wheel to trade and I know they're popular. So I'm confident I'll be able to get 4 keys for them. So we're looking at about 2 keys profit on this trade. Next up, I got invited for my lime loopers. Had an ad up selling them for 6 keys and I managed to get the deal. I valued them at 5, so I'm happy with this one. And this is also one I expected to take me a bit longer to trade. For the next trade, I sold my grey voltaic wheels for 4 keys. Same deal with the lime loopers, 1 key more than I valued them at. However, I do feel these are a pair of wheels that are kinda undervalued at the moment. So I'm gonna look and see if I can buy them for very cheap since they're undervalued and maybe sell them again for 4 keys. The next trade, I sniped some lime zombas from rltrades.com. Bought these for 4 keys and I was very confident I'd be able to get 5 for them, but we're going to see if we can maybe get 6. For the next trade, I got 6 nitro crates for 3 of my import cars. I had an ad up that I was trading them 1 to 2. Took me quite some time to get this deal, but it's a very good one in my opinion, because I feel we can easily get like 5 keys for these nitros, maybe 6. Now the next trade is a bit of a weird one. A guy invited me for my Octane ZSR and he said he had 5 nitro crates and 2 turbo crates to offer. However, we had just sold our ZSR, so I had to buy another one for 1 key. But I do feel pretty bad for making this guy overpay so much, so I'm probably going to invite him from my main account and hook him up with some free items to make up for it. For the next trade, I sold 12 of my nitro crates for 11 keys. I initially put them up at a ratio of 12 to 12 or 1 to 1. However, that never got any attention, so I dropped it to 12 to 11. I do think if I was a bit more patient, maybe I could have got that 12 to 12. But I do think 12 to 11 is still a pretty good ratio. Alright, on to our second last trade for today's video. I managed to sell those lime zombas I had for 6 keys. That's a 2 key profit right there. And that was a pretty quick one, so I'm probably going to look to buy another lime zomba for 4 and sell it for 6. And the final trade for today's video involves me selling my cobalt zombas for 8 keys. I tried getting 9 keys for them for quite some time. That didn't really get much attention, so I had to drop it down to 8. That's what I valued them at. So nothing spectacular, however it was part of the white Zomba overpay, so not that big of a deal in my opinion. But that is it for today's trading series. Managed to score some good deals and get quite a bit of profit. But what I'm most happy with is getting rid of those cursed white Zombas. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, maybe found an item or 2 to trade. If you're into Rocket League trading, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.